Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Also, those that are zooming in, welcome back for those as well. So, apologies this evening from Justin not feeling well. A few other people as well with the colds and flus that are going around. But good to keep warm and keep meditating. Helps to boost the immune system and keep the colds and flu bugs away. So let's settle in with our meditation. So with our eyes gently closed, helping to bring our awareness within and inviting ourselves to arrive here, this place, wherever this place might be, but this place, and arriving into this time, this present time, the opportunity to engage the invitation to ourselves to be present, to be aware, a being aware, mindful, conscious, which means a movement away from distractions, disturbances, dullness, doubts, and also desires, even the desire for calm and clarity. All those things pertain to self, so meditation is the chance for the mind to release engagement through that mediating mental factor, the self, and arriving on the spot of existence, the present, with calm, clarity, peace, and presence. And for the purposes of our meditation, using the naturally occurring breath as the reference point for the present. So firstly, relaxing awareness down into the body, maybe with an initial deep, relaxing, letting go breath. Breathing out any stress tension that may have been building and residing in the body over the day. Taking this time to relax, release, let go through that outgoing breath. Feeling into the body with awareness. Mindfully noticing a few contact points of sensation. Feet connecting with the floor. The body connecting with the chair, cushion, or meditation stool, sensing, feeling that. The placement of hands and fingers resting in the lap. Sensation of hands and fingers. Maybe feeling the air connecting with our face. And also mindfully noticing the perception of light. Light connecting with the eyes through the closed eyelids. A few subtle background sounds. Maybe a few sounds or images of thoughts in the mind, but not engaging those. Allowing them to dissolve and dissipate, disappear. As we choose to bring awareness to the breath, as we feel it entering, exiting our body through the nose nostril area. Receiving the gift of life with each in-breath, and then returning that gift to the space around with the out-breath. Mindfully feeling each breath, using one or two words in the mind as a mental note or mantra if we find that helpful. Allowing the mind to quieten down, calm down, enabling inner stillness, inner silence, inner spaciousness. Allowing a deeper domain of our being to become apparent. Simply sitting, being, breathing, knowing. Now, knowing awareness. Please help yourself to some tea and biscuits. So are we aware of SI? The two letters SI that are something quite specific. Anyone heard the term SI before? No? Probably the main reason that you're here is because of SI. Here this evening doing some meditation. Sometimes referred to as SQ. Does that sort of bring up any ideas? No? You've heard of IQ, intellectual quotient, EQ, emotional quotient. So SQ or SI, spiritual intelligence. Thought this evening to share some of the information about spiritual intelligence, because I think that we're moving into a time, an age, where maybe the last vestige of intelligence that human beings are able to define themselves by, spiritual intelligence. Given that AI is going to be taking over a lot of the capacities of human beings, so that the last vestige, the last meaning of being alive as a human being is our spiritual intelligence, that domain of our being that is hopefully something that AI doesn't take over. So some of the definitions of spiritual intelligence. From Wikipedia, spiritual intelligence, SI, is a term used by some philosophers, psychologists, and developmental theorists to indicate spiritual parallels with intelligence quotient, IQ, and emotional intelligence, EI, or EQ. And also, spiritual intelligence is a form of intelligence that focuses on the capacity to transcend the material world and explore deeper meanings, values, and connections. It involves the ability to ask meaningful questions about life's purpose, understand the relationship between oneself and the world, and utilize spiritual resources to solve problems and achieve goals. And here's a breakdown of some of the key concepts, such as transcendence. SI involves the capacity to move beyond the limitations of the physical and material world and to experience a sense of connection to something larger than oneself. Heightened consciousness. It enables individuals to experience heightened states of awareness and understanding, often associated with spiritual practices or experiences. Sanctifying everyday life. SI involves recognizing and appreciating the sacredness in everyday experiences and relationships, finding meaning in ordinary situations. And utilizing spiritual resources. It entails the ability to draw upon spiritual wisdom, values, and principles to address the issues of daily life. It actually was first coined as a word by Dana Zohar. She introduced the idea in 1997 in her book, Rewiring the Corporate Brain. So over the years since then, it's been used as a term, and various theorists have given their particular definition of what spiritual intelligence is. So Dana Zohar defined 12 principles underlying spiritual intelligence. The 12 are, and whilst I read them out, just see if you can relate to any of these in your own awareness or your own sort of feel of spiritual approach to life. Number 1, self-awareness, knowing what I believe in and value and what deeply motivates me. 2, spontaneity, living in and being responsive to the moment. 3, being vision and value-led, acting from principles and deep beliefs and living accordingly. 4, holism, seeing larger patterns, relationships, and connections, having a sense of belonging. 5, compassion, having the quality of feeling with and deep empathy. 6, celebrating diversity, valuing other people for their differences, not despite them. 7, field independence, standing against the crowd and having one's own convictions. 8, humility, having the sense of being a player in a larger drama of one's true place in the world. 9, tendency to ask fundamental why questions, needing to understand things and get to the bottom of them. 10, ability to reframe, standing back from a situation or problem and seeing the bigger picture or wider context. 11, positive use of adversity, learning and growing from mistakes, setbacks, and suffering. 12, sense of vocation, feeling called upon to serve, to give back something. And another theorist, Robert Emmons, defines spiritual intelligence as the adaptive use of spiritual information to facilitate everyday problem solving and goal attainment. And he originally proposed 5 components of spiritual intelligence. 1, the capacity to transcend the physical and material, maybe through meditation. 2, the ability to experience heightened states of consciousness, meditation. 3, the ability to sanctify everyday experience. 4, the ability to utilize spiritual resources to solve problems. and 5, the capacity for to be virtuous. And another person, Cindy Wigglesworth, she has 4 quadrants of spiritual intelligence, and these are defined as higher self or ego self-awareness, 2, universal awareness, 3, higher self-ego self-mastery, and 4, spiritual presence, social mastery. And just further to this, the 115th Annual Conference of the American Psychological Association highlights 7 major themes that are universal across the world's spiritual and wisdom traditions. And these are: 1, consciousness, possessing developed, refined awareness and self-knowledge. 2, grace, living in alignment with sacred, manifesting love for and trust in life. 3, meaning, experiencing significance in daily activities through a sense of purpose and a call for service, including in the face of pain and suffering. 4, transcendence, identifying beyond the separate egoic self into an interconnected wholeness. 5, truth, living in open acceptance, curiosity, and love for all creation, all that is. 6, serenity, surrendering peacefully to self, and they've got in brackets truth, God, absolute or true nature. And 7, inner directedness, maintaining inner freedom aligned with responsible, wise action. So that information is available on Wikipedia. But I was sort of touched by some of the things that they said, because it certainly aligns with what we're developing, even in being here, coming to practice meditation, to cultivate the quality of our consciousness, conscious awareness as an ongoing practice, and listening to some the things that I might share, some teaching, some guidance, some reflections, some contemplations, asking questions, a sense of growing, evolving. And I think the one thing about spiritual intelligence, which maybe aligns also with IQ and EQ, is that it's not static. It's something which we can develop. And I think that whilst certainly IQ and EQ have their place, it's the spiritual intelligence that helps us to develop something more profound beyond just the use of intelligence for personal gain, which certainly can be IQ and EQ. EQ in terms of connecting with others, someone that's going to, in their line of work, needing to connect with others and sell something, marketing, or promote something, or even teaching. The sense of EQ is quite important. But the SI or SQ is something which transcends. The self transcends the world, which becomes very much what spiritual practice is about. So they've even developed now assessments for assessing people's degree of spiritual intelligence. And obviously something that one can sort of check out and then see how one's developing over time. But I think also another marker of that is just a degree of feeling more at ease in oneself, feeling more at ease in one's life, feeling more at ease with life, no matter what life throws up, the realities, the truths of life, aging, illness, unsatisfactoriness, uncertainty, death, these realities of life, and being able to accommodate them and be less distressed and overwhelmed by them. It's all part of our ongoing spiritual or wisdom, also compassion, awareness, and even, I would say, our evolution as human beings. It's not enough just to be intelligent. Again, like the AI is going to be taking over a lot of the intelligence that human beings have. I was speaking to someone just yesterday, and he's been doing some research into AI, and he says this is thing now called superpower AI, and that major players in the world, significant countries, are racing towards developing this super powerful AI to pretty much run the show. So it's things that he was saying were sounding pretty scary. So it's like, wow, we need to sort of emphasize the importance of that spiritual domain of our being as the last sort of vestige of what it means to be a human being. Because certainly, as with mobile phones technology and how that's taken over so much in the last 20 years, and to the point where pretty much you can't get by unless you've got a mobile phone. So much of, find where's the closest bank? Well, because it's all done on the mobile phone these days. Or where is there a phone box out in the street? When was the last time we saw a phone box?
They're still there. There's still some phone boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Telstra have some free phone boxes.
Okay, well that's good. But things that we took for granted for decades, even centuries, just gone. And so life for human beings is changing dramatically and changing very quickly as well. And yes, there can be positive things about that as well. Certainly these devices are amazing. You can do amazing things with them. Check the weather and check your emails and collect your photographs and write stuff on them and check into social media. Amazing. But at the same time, something is lost. Something is lost in that. I still like things like this, a book with pages and smell the book. You can read a book on your mobile phone though, but which is great. I mean, people have 100 books on their mobile phones or their Kindle. But appreciating what may be lost if we don't recognize things that are important for looking after ourselves, looking after our humanity, and maintaining a sense of independence from some of the structures that are likely to take over everything. So to sort of have our sort of sense of what's really important, and certainly that wisdom aspect has been important for thousands of years. So that and the wisdom doesn't really change. Perennial wisdom, eternal wisdom doesn't change. It's like it's why the things that the Buddha said 2,500 years ago still relevant, applicable, practicable today in the 21st century. The same with other spiritual teachers as well. It's like if it's real wisdom, it stands the test of time. It's not just for a particular time and age, because it connects to something fundamental in our human experience, like a good medicine that can be used for thousands of years. It's not something which is obsolete in some times. Like, no, it relates to what's right for the body. And so the mind medicine, which is wisdom, helping to heal the mind from greed, anger, ignorance, fear and confusion, despair, that's something which we need to develop and partake of, honor and use. And that's all part of the process of spiritual intelligence. So certainly, I think really important to recognize that. Now you know the word, what SI means, and to go, yes, I want to develop that. And as we all are, if we didn't have some degree of spiritual intelligence, we wouldn't be meditating. So what a silly thing to do, sit down and feel your breath. But we know that the value of what's developed by that, and as well as spiritual teachings to engage those. And so that to increase that for our well-being, and also being able to share that with others. The world, I think, at no other time in human history needs to emphasize and actualize more spiritual wisdom, compassion, awareness. And meeting up as we do as a group on a Thursday nights, encouraging and inspirational for all of us, taking home the inspiration to practice some meditation, to develop some wisdom approaches to our life, daily life, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, whoever we're engaging with. And that's what it's about. So any thoughts for yourself or any questions around spiritual intelligence or some of those elements or aspect of it that I might have read out? Do they seem pretty reasonable? Those points?
As well as aspects aspirational, for sure.
Yep. Well, it's like the spiritual virtues. They're aspirational things to aspire to, and it's even good to have an awareness of lists of things to aspire to. But probably you maybe recognize that you do engage many of those qualities or virtues or values in your day-to-day life anyway. And in doing so, it's also good to recognize, yes, this is engaging this quality. It's helpful, and maybe seeing the result that was helpful. I wasn't reactive to that person. I was able to sort of stay calm, or I was able to look at the bigger picture. I was able to show consideration and acceptance. So reminding oneself of that. Brendan?
One of the qualities, I forget which one it was, but you mentioned the ego.
Yep.
Which I don't know if I didn't get the context correct, but that confused me a little bit because I guess I think of the ego as something that we should let go of when we're developing spiritual qualities. So did I get the context wrong there? Or?
So there was 4 higher self or ego self-awareness, universal awareness, higher self, ego, self-mastery. And I think this is one of the things we need to be aware of with regards to ego, which is often seen as a dirty word, like in the song. But ego or ergo or self, the mind-body complex needs the ego. The ego is a relational tool. Since it's a reference point. The thing is, spiritual awareness and spiritual practice helps the ego to be more of a healthy ego. And the thing about, and also to have the wisdom to realize that the ego is just a communication device, a helpful structure. So it's one of these things. It's receiving information, collating, collecting, calculating, communicating information. So it's a relational tool. It's a convenient designator, ego or self. And it's like the Buddha had an ego. It's what he used for relating. And, people were describing his certain qualities or the sense of self that the Buddha had. But the Buddha mind knew that the ego was just a communication device for relating.
Well, a higher ego would potentially be an ego that is more aware of the fact that it is a tool and it's not the ultimate self.
Yeah. So, and the ego itself is just a structure. It's more like the heart of awareness, the chitta, knows that the ego is just a relational tool, and people have there's different sort of structures, different sort of ego characteristics, so that in the Buddha's scriptures, the suttas, we hear of Venerable Ananda, and he was a very compassionate, kind person. He became fully enlightened. We hear of Sariputta and Moggallana, the right and left hand disciples of the Buddha, but they had different characters as well. Also, Mahakassapa, who was very much fully enlightened, very much into austere practices and living alone. And so different sort of ego, even though the the purity of the heart was the same, the enlightened mind heart the same, but the wrapping, the shell of the persona, which personhood or persona from the Greek word which means mask. Persona in Greek is the mask the actor uses to in the dramas, the drama of life, basically. But the enlightened mind isn't identified as the ego. So it's not so much getting rid of the ego. It's more about the wise use of the ego as a tool. Even like the word persona in Latin, per as in for, sona. What does sona mean?
Sound.
Sound, yeah. So for the sound of. So the persona is for the sound of. It's the voice, it's the relational tool. And even interestingly, sonar, as it's used in submarines, is a way of it's a sound to be able to bounce off things, to orientate and know where the submarine is using sonar. And so that similarly, also the sense of self is a relational tool to get a sense of like, this is who I am by relating to others. Sense of self through relationship, my relationship to this person, that person, this place, past or future, getting a sense of identity, self. But the wisdom of this, as Ajahn Tiradama will explain next Thursday, is the mind that's not ignorant of this reality and is able to be not fooled by the seeming sense that the ego is a permanent structure, which is challenging because we use our language creates a sense of permanence. Well, I've always been me. I've never not been me. And wherever I go, there I am. So I exist, always the same. But no, the ego is a structure which changes, over time. It's modified over time, and even we find the more we meditate, then maybe the ego sense of self persona that the mind has is a bit different, and who or what we were, how we related, engaged before we practice meditation and the path of wisdom. So the ego it's a necessary, helpful structure.
One of those things speaks about ego mastery.
Mm.
So that's basically what you're saying. It's not a matter of guarding the ego, it's a matter of mastering it.
Yeah. Mastering it and even having an ego that is a really healthy tool to use. And certainly our meditation practice is having that opportunity to take off the mask, and as in the meditation, no ego is required. Not having to relate and be somebody. It's just allowing the chance for the mind heart to be free from the role and responsibility of being a person and relating, just downtime, which can be very, very freeing. Ivan?
Yeah, you spoke about spiritual intelligence and emotional intelligence and I guess intellectual intelligence. Would you say that SI encompasses the other two, or do you think it stands alone as something, doesn't necessarily connect with them?
Yeah, my sense is that it does overlap. It overlaps. So certainly there needs to be a degree of intellectual quotient, intellect to be able to see the worth of these qualities and virtues and values, and even in terms of studying wisdom teachings as well. So a degree of intellect, and also particularly also a degree of emotional sort of heart awareness connection. And the more the spiritual awareness develops, there is more emphasis on that EQ, that sort of heart, emotional connection, feeling, compassion, care, support of others. So they are very much connected. Some people may get, if they are very, very intelligent, that becomes their main dominant way of engaging, and which can also then be a great distraction. So they then can sort of emphasize, well, you know, I'm an amazing scientist or I'm an amazing surgeon, and that's what's really important. And the other things becomes seemingly less important. But I would say that of the three, the spiritual intelligence is the most important, because that's what liberates the mind from ignorance and from suffering.
I guess you could say that emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, almost the foundation for spiritual intelligence.
Yeah,
to
that as well.
Go to another level.
Yeah, so the both the emotional and also intellectual capacity are avenues to then sort of go into seeing the importance of spiritual intelligence. So next Thursday, all being well, we don't have any cyclones or hurricanes or floods or fires. The planes are flying. Ajahn Tiradhammo will be here. So you probably would have seen the newsletter I sent out yesterday. So he phoned me, or not phoned, but emailed me during the week, it was Monday, I think, and said that he's got a space in time that he can come up and give the teachings that he was going to give back on, I think it was the 20th of February when the hurricane was happening. And it also has to sort of key in with when the Ajahn Kemavaro, the other main monk at the monastery, is able to be there. So Ajahn Tiradhammo has some time to leave monastery in Sydney. So he'll be flying up next Thursday afternoon. I'll pick him up from the airport. He'll be here for our evening session. And also with the Sunday meditation day as well, which will be from 9:30 until 2. And hopefully you'll be able to come along and share on that occasion if you're free, and bring a plate of food to share. So a shared lunch for that, which we'll have early, because Buddhist monastics need to have their meal before noon, which is fine if it's daylight saving. Eat up to 1 o'clock, but otherwise outside of daylight saving, noon is 12. And so that we'll have an early lunch and then some more meditation and teachings, and finish at 2 p.m. So that let me know if you can come, just for some numbers, and send an email. And also there's always space, so if it's a last minute decision, that's fine as well, just to arrive, just to come. Or even if you can only come for half the day, that's fine, up until lunchtime. Or for just the morning. Great to have the chance to come and sit with Ajahn Tiradhammo and receive some teachings. And also it'll be on the theme of self-making, as we've been discussing even this evening. And for those of you that didn't get his book last time, he was here last year, then we've got some copies of his book to give out as well. Good. So thanks for coming out this evening. Stay warm and stay well, and see you next time. Thank you.